And then, listen, every island should have at least a minimum of 3 counselors. Every island. And so if the government got to do whatever it has to do to find people and train them, find the people, train them, prepare them. They're responsible, and let them do counseling on several levels. Counseling for the police. Some of these police go through some traumatic situations. Counseling for children, these high school kids. And then they can do other counseling, probably that and arrange whether they're paid or whatever the case may be. But we need to have this kind of counseling, particularly in the family islands and Nassau. We have all the suicide in Grandma, but we need to have these counselors who are there. And they need to have these numbers posted at schools, at government offices, at other institutions where they are public, where persons can see. If you're being molested, call this number. If you have a problem or you feel suicidal, call this number. Post it everywhere. And so the Bahamas Crisis Centre has failed miserably in that regard. Children, nobody should be calling them and the call taken several rings to answer when the person could be in a crisis right then. And so, this isn't a one-sided thing. The government needs to do their part. Get this justice system in order. Get it fixed. Get a digital court system that works. Assign people who, officers, for example, when a person got to testify, if it's a witness, you have it set up where they can, where that witness can testify, and somebody is there making with the witness, assigned government person. If they're in the U.S., they could go to the nearest consulate and testify. Wherever they are, they can testify. They don't have to come to Nassau and testify. We moved to the digital court system for a reason. And I don't understand how the digital court system works for certain people in this country, and they ain't working for the rich, for the rest. It's working for the rich, but not for the poor. When are our leaders going to stop focusing on the rich alone and make sure that the people who need these services benefit from it? Anyhow, it is what it is. And while we're talking about child molestation, there's a story where it says a deacon was sentenced to 20 years for molesting a 10-year-old girl. He wasn't supposed to get sentenced to 20 years. He was supposed to get sentenced to 20 years and get beaten with the cat o' nine tail. Say, a 59-year-old deacon was on Friday sentenced to 2 decades in prison for molesting a 10-year-old girl. That means he can be nice, and he can be when he come out if he ain't dead first. The convict showed no emotion as Justice Dale, and I don't know why they kept his name a secret. They need to expose that sucker. His name needs to be out there. People need to know who that nasty bum is. The convict showed no emotion as Justice Dale Fitzpatrick handed down his decision. The man who has not been named to protect the child's identity, really? Crap. Has maintained his innocence in the face of the 9-member jury's unanimous guilty verdicts. He was convicted of 2 counts of unlawful sexual intercourse with a dependent on May 9th. The victim was living in New Providence with the convict and his wife, her maternal aunt, following her mother's death. In January and February 2023, the convict, then 56, anally raped the child on 3 separate occasions in his bedroom while his wife, who had limited mobility due to a stroke, was in another room. Oh, they should have broke something on him. Listen, when you go to prison, make sure the prisoners know who he is. You only want to tell us?